Hey guys, so this is kind of a really informal video. Parts of it's going to be pretty serious, like actually some bad news kind of stuff and some good news to come out of it. So this will be different than most of the videos I do. I know I usually come here just to learn how to make money, and there is an element to that. I'm going to give you, basically going to be having access to some free stuff that no one else has seen at the end of this video, but there's going to be a long road to get there. So you will be rewarded, but this is definitely different than what I've done in the past. So what I did maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, I did an Amazon book selling State of the Union address, and I dressed up in a suit and I did this whole goofy thing. So this is kind of an FBA Mastery State of the Union address. In other words, this is not the industry or the business. This is kind of like what's happening in this tiny world, where whether you're on my email list or YouTube channel. And again, I'm going to start out with some actually bad news, but it's it's bad news that's shaping the direction of what's to come. And but then there's some good, like I said, some good news to come out of it. So let me try to recap really quick the history of FBA Mastery, and I'll try to keep this like 60 seconds. Okay, so going way back, I think we started in 2011-ish or something, when there wasn't a whole lot of information out there on how to sell on Amazon, specifically books at the very least. And there was I think no YouTube channels. There was really nothing. There's a few of us like bloggers. There's like Book to the Future, and there's a couple of blogs. So I started FBA Mastery. I published articles like crazy for like years. And then I told this story before, but I started an online arbitrage tool called Zen Arbitrage, and that started to kind of like take up more and more of my time. I took my foot off the gas a little bit with FBA Mastery. And then when I kind of relinquished my day-to-day duties with Zen Arbitrage in 2021, late, very, very end, more like 2022, I started to put a lot more material on FBA Mastery. And so I started republishing again, and I was just kind of like back. It's kind of like right back where I left off in like 2017-ish. I picked right back up in 2022. And I talked then about how my goal with the site was to basically, in the past, I was never like a course guy where I was like, buy my course. Like I had some stuff, but it wasn't like that. I wasn't like the course guy. But stuff that I would have put in a course in the past, I was like, I'm just going to start giving everything away for free. Like it's crazy. I've been sitting on all this information for so long. I haven't released a lot of it. Like I'm just going to start like purging everything. So I've been really consistent for the last year and a half, publishing at least one article a week on average, at least one video a week on average. And I've never done video before at all. It probably shows. And so that's what I've been doing. And it's been a lot of fun. And so my declaration when I kind of relaunched, I think it was like the beginning of 2022, was again that I'm just going to start giving everything away for free. And I've been pretty good about that. But what I haven't done is really done the full purge that I intended. In other words, I have like half a terabyte of like a hard drive of just like half done courses, and there's all this like random stuff, right? So something happened that reignited I'm not going to say an interest, but like a need to really start giving stuff away. I don't know how to say this. This is the bad news part. So this video is kind of I don't want to spoil. So one day I was thinking about the people that were around when I got started, and the teachers, and how valuable they were. And like, now we call them gurus, but it was like never looked at like that. It was just like people sharing information online. It was a small group, and it felt like kind of a secret society almost. Like the outside world had not discovered us. And again, I'm definitely not the first wave. There's people that came way before me. And like Chris Green with Scan Power, and you had like booktothefuture.com with Nathan's website, and you had there was a Skip McGrath. There's like a handful of us that were like talking about this stuff, and people that were before me. And but by the time I came around, it still felt like a secret society. And so I was thinking about the people from back then, and there was one person that came to mind I hadn't talked to in a while, and we were like decently close. Like we would talk on the phone. There was a period where we talk on the phone like every couple of weeks. His name was Jordan Malik. A lot of you guys remember Jordan. So he did a website called Honest Online Selling, and it was a blog. And it's hard to overstate how much of an impact some people had on the business as we know it, just off very little content. Now Jordan did publish very prolifically. But I mean, there were people that had blogs that like impacted me tremendously, that were the whole website was like 6 articles, and I would just like study those 6. Now you just get hit in the face with like information overload, right? But back in the day, like you could really change an entire industry with like a blog that had like a dozen articles. So Jordan was a lot more prolific than that. He published a lot of material, and I think he predated me a little bit. So this is like 2010 era. He started publishing roughly, and he just built up a following, and people just really respected him and everything he taught. And he was more like Amazon and eBay, and he did some books, did some toys, he did lots of stuff. But again, people that found Jordan, it was like, you're wandering through the desert and you find like the person that can actually help you make money online. So that was Jordan, and we became friends, and we would talk pretty regularly, and for a while. And like, I know that he had some software tools, and so when I was starting my tools in arbitrage, my old tool, he was someone I turned to kind of for help on like how do you work with developers and how do you develop this stuff, and then he would in turn come to me about questions about like book stuff, or like some basic new people would pop up, like different like sort of like guru types, and he'd be like, what do you think of this guy, like, and so we just like talk shop, and things got a little interesting probably around 2019. I actually went to his house in I think 2018 in Vegas. Like, I was there for other reasons, and I was like, oh, Jordan's here. So I reached out to Jordan, and we actually did like a live webinar from his house. It was like a lot of fun, and I got to see his place, and he was doing really well. Like, I think he had just gotten divorced, so he's just kind of in the infancy of that, which is unfortunate. But he had like this big house, and like Jordan was a guy who was he had an actual real thriving Amazon and eBay business. It was not just something he taught. And so anyway, I met up with him and all this stuff. So shortly after that, he started to reach out to me, and I don't know how much to say here because I'm not so good with like tact, so or like what's appropriate. So I'm not going to like share someone's personal details, but there was definitely like, he was having stuff with his divorce. There were some issues. I know that he had a holiday season where his eBay sales were not, Amazon sales were not what they had been in years past, and so he's kind of confused. He felt like the landscape was changing. There was some stuff we talked about, and so he's calling me more and more, but the calls are getting more and more kind of like a little bit depressive, and this is a period of time. This is kind of an era of like 2019 where there were just seemingly out of nowhere, there was just like huge numbers of like, I hate to use the word guru because it's like so cheesy, but like huge numbers of people popping up online teaching Amazon selling stuff that, like me and him were both sitting back like, we don't want to be the old, gatekeepers or anything, but like we're not sure some of these people are authentic. And so there was kind of this like conversation going on about like, wow, it's kind of getting overwhelming, like cutting through all the bad information that's out there now with information that's actually tried and tested like in the field. And so we're just kind of talking about that. But he was also dealing with like divorce stuff, and it was just like things were getting kind of depressive for him, and I think maybe some money issues are creeping in, and then so our conversations got a little bit harder to have because they just weren't. He was kind of hard to track, and seemed really kind of lost, and I was having a really hard time reining him in, and so we just weren't in touch. It just got really really difficult to get through a conversation with him because he just was really lost. I think he was talking about. There was just lots of stuff. So after a couple of years of not speaking with him, it seems crazy. I was like, well, how have we not talked? So I texted him and nothing. I didn't get a response. And I went to his website, and his website was down. And he had a couple software tools. Like, he had like a thriving, business, multiple businesses. I went his YouTube channel was still up, but his blog was down. I was like, that's crazy. So that really was like a jolt. So I emailed him, I texted him again, no response. And it really like came as a blow to me. Not just that his website was down, like, because the amount of information I gleaned from his teachings, not even just his course, just the free stuff, he does this blog post, was like so massive for me at the time. And to think that someone's, and I knew how much care he put into that his material, to think that someone's life work, and it's like, I don't know if he would define his life as like, I'm the Amazon, it was one of many things that he accomplished, but to think that all that information could just be gone was like really jolting for me. And I started thinking about like, all the like the things that I've done that like, oh, like one day I'll re-release that thing, or I'll put it up on YouTube, or like like some old course I did that I just took down for some reason, or some old ebook, and I'm like, oh, and people ask me about it, I'm just like, oh yeah, maybe one day I'll republish it. I just like all this stuff is like tomorrow, and then all this stuff I'm sitting on that, again, like, you know, I don't have the secret to world peace. I don't mean to like overstate it. It's just Amazon selling, right? It's not anything of worldly significance, but you know, to the few people, you know, to the person I was when I got started, like that stuff matters. Like it can really change your life. Like even if it's just seemingly Amazon selling, you know, tactics or whatever, like that stuff can change people's lives. So I'm not trying to overstate the knowledge I have, but like I know I've seen the impact it's had on people, and I'm just a very small part of that, and the impact that the Amazon, you know, whatever, blogger, YouTube, like it's had impacts on, changed a lot of people's lives. So, and I'm just like the smallest part of that. But I started thinking about like how crazy it can be to just lose everything. Like the website's gone, like that whole archive of knowledge is just gone. It was so weird to me. And I couldn't reach Jordan. I was like, what if he just decided to like go to the Amazon and just like, like, you know, disappear? Like that's crazy. And so I got really, really serious about, okay, I was just so jolted by this. I was like, I need to get everything that I have to share to this small community that we're in out there. One way or another, I have to just like purge. Like I really need to get serious about this, because I don't want, like, what if I get hit by a car? Again, not that the world is going to miss Peter Valley or miss anything that I have to say, but it's like, if I can have an impact, if I have the opportunity, if like what little information I have to share, if it can help people, like why am I sitting on it? And I'm not holding anything back deliberately. It's just a matter of time. Like I don't have the time to like put everything out there. And I'm talking about like books. I have so many half-written books. Like I'm not even kidding, 15. Like literally, give or take, 15 half-written books. Easily a dozen completed or mostly completed courses. All this stuff, right? So I'm like, wow, Jordan Malik's whole thing just vanished. So I sent out an email a few months ago. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. And basically covering everything that I just described to you. Like my whole like big kind of realization that everything I just shared with you. And how Jordan's website went down. I didn't mention him by name. I just said, hey, there's a figure that was big in our space and his website's down. And it got me thinking about some stuff. That was basically the email. And I got some responses. I didn't mention my name, but I got some emails saying, hey, Peter, are you talking about Jordan Malik? And I said, yeah, do you know anything? Where's Jordan? I haven't talked to him for a while. And I got exactly 2 emails that said, hey, like I thought you would have known, but he had passed away. And I guess that happened in the summer. It's been a minute. I think it was the summer of 2021. And I don't know if anyone knew when it happened exactly, but that's when word kind of got out. And I had talked to him maybe 6 months before that or so. And so this is kind of a tribute to Jordan. And I didn't want to make this whole video, you know, like I didn't want to title it like, because it's just like I knew him. I think others knew him better than I knew him. And you know, the memorial that I would give would be that he had a tremendous impact on the Amazon selling world. On me personally, he was one of the few guys. I mean, Jordan. I mean, look, you want to know anything you want to know about Jordan? It's a true story. He got approached by, so you know, for a period of time, he had one of the bigger email lists in the space, and so people would come to him and who had like courses or tools, and they'd say, "Hey, will you promote my course or my program or whatever?" And he had the ability to make a significant sum of money promoting other people's courses just based on the following that he had. And you know, his email list was like, I don't know what it was, like 20,000+ people, and so people would come to him, and so he got approached by, I won't name some names, but some really people who are selling a really high ticket product where Jordan would be making, I think, north of $2,000 for every sale. So he could have literally, if he promoted, and I think he got many of these offers, if he could have promoted this one I know of in particular, he probably would have made easily a 6-figure amount just sending out a couple emails and a couple videos. And he looked at the program and he's like, you know what? I don't feel comfortable with this. He's like, I think there's better, cheaper courses out there that teach the same thing for less money. And I'm not going to shill a $5,000 course when there's a $500 course that does the same thing. And so he told him no, which is insane. I mean, literally all he had to do was send a couple emails, make $100,000. That's actually literally how it would have worked. And he told him no because he just didn't feel comfortable with it. So that's the kind of guy Jordan was. And I do not know the stories around his dad. I don't know any details. I don't know anything. I just know he was increasingly despondent as in the last few phone calls I had with him. So how do we take something bad? So anyway, rest in peace, Jordan Malik. If you jump in the comments if you were impacted by him. Again, I think he stopped really publishing stuff really heavily, probably in like 2018 or so ish. So not, the turnover in this business is pretty significant. So there's not a lot of people maybe that are even around, that were around back then who are watching this. But if you were, definitely post in the comments. I think that we could, give him a tribute that way. So as far as I know, I'm the first to like really talk about this publicly. I don't think this was really known in the Amazon selling world. So that's that. And how do we turn this something bad into something good? Well, I told you, I said, the thought of, again, it sounds grandiose to say if I got in a car accident, the world would be missing out on such great knowledge. And it's not, I'm not really saying that, but I am sitting on a lot of information that I should really get out there. And so this has inspired me. This learning about Jordan has inspired me to really do that. So the question is, what is that going to look like? And do I become the course guy? No, I don't want to do that. I'm probably going to sell course in the future. I'm not saying I won't, but that's not really, I don't want to be that guy, right? I want to be the guy you look at, when you think of me, you're like, oh, well, that guy gives away an insane amount of stuff that you could probably charge for, like totally for free. But the other thing that I think about is like, well, it's really discouraging when you put a lot of work into something and it gets consumed by like the course junkies. I don't know if you know this, like a type of person. It's like a course junkie or like a information junkie is a better way to put it. And they just consume everything and they have a lot of opinions about everything, but they don't actually apply it. And it doesn't actually change their life. And that's the kind of crowd you attract when you just give everything away completely for free. And without any barriers to entry. And I'm not saying the barrier to entry has to be money. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't like the idea of just like putting like a course that maybe I would have charged like $300 for and just be like, hey, everyone, like there has to be some kind of gesture that people make, some sort of like barrier to entry or some friction to obtaining the thing so that only the people that are actually willing to give something up get the free thing. It doesn't have to be money, right? That's not what I'm saying. Because you filter out 99.9% of people when there's any friction at all to obtaining a thing. So now I'm thinking like, what could that be? Like, how could people prove they're really going to use something? And I don't just put it up there to be kind of, just sort of the object of like, reply guy commenters who don't really do anything because I don't want to attract those people. So when I'm talking about all these books and courses and all that stuff, like how do I actually get it out there? How do I distribute it? So I have a couple thoughts about this, and it's not really a well-formed thought, but the future of FBA Mastery is going to involve giving large amounts of stuff, more than I have in the past, away for free. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's going to involve paperback books. I did not just get into book selling because it's a widget to flip online. Like I actually have a deep appreciation for books. So I think a big part of this is going to be I'm going to publish things in book format. And I'm going to be giving those books away at cost. So that's a little bit of friction there. I'm not making money off it, but it comes at cost. So like you pay for the shipping and the printing costs, and I'll even be transparent about exactly what my costs are, and I'll even show you screenshots and everything. So so it's not a money-making venture. Nobody makes money off books anyway. But I'm thinking about that. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm never going to sell anything again. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm going to be giving most things away for free. So there's that. The courses, I'm thinking like, okay, what is this going to look like? So one of the things I thought of is giving away, back to the book thing, giving away a box of books or courses for that matter, a box of books, like paperback books that I've written about various aspects of the business for free if you sign up for like my repricing tool, for example. Like, so there's a little bit of friction there. You got to sign up for a thing. You don't have to commit. You can cancel and like keep the books, but like there's some kind of barrier there, right? So that's one thing I'm thinking about. So it's going to take some time to write these books because they're not all done, but some of them are. So that's one thing I'm thinking about. So look for some weird, wild, crazy like box of physical stuff from me at some point in the near-ish future. Okay, so that's one declaration I'm making. Number two, with the courses, it might be something similar, like sign up for NeuroPrice, get like this super high-end course, or a huge bundle of courses. I might put all my courses on a little thumb drive and mail you the thumb drive. I kind of like that idea too. I'm thinking about a lot of different stuff, but like I need to just put everything out there because, and again, this isn't the Secret to World Peace. It's not the Dead Sea Scrolls, but it's I think there's some value to what I have to say, and I hear it anytime somebody, I always think back and I'm like, what's the metric that I know I'm doing something right? Like, how do I measure it? Because it's hard to measure when you're teaching something. How do you measure whether it's working, whether it's worth your time? And I think for a lot of people, that would actually be like, my students are doing X dollars per month or per year. Like, that would kind of be the metric they use. I don't really like that metric that much because I don't think it captures. Like, if you got somebody that's like driving Lamborghinis that's making 10 grand a month, well, they're still broke because they're overspending, right? I like, how do you measure changing people's lives? $5,000 or $3,000 a month can change somebody's life, right? That can allow them to put their kids in a private school or something. Like, that can change, like that small amount of money can change someone's life. So like, my metric I decided personally is when people tell me they've been able to quit their jobs. I know that's hyper specific, but that's literally the metric that I use. Like, how often do I hear I have been able to quit my job or go from full-time to part-time, basically buy their time back? That's the feedback that I look to specifically as a measure of whether what I have to say helps people. I'm not so interested in, I'm the guy that has 4 side hustles and this is my 5th, and thank you for the extra $5,000 a month. That's great, but you are already free. I want to provide a jailbreak to people. I got into this business because I didn't want to work. Like, that's literally it. People go, that's very blunt of you. That's literally why I got into this business. I didn't have anything. There was nothing lofty about it. There was no, I got into book selling because I want to share knowledge. I want people disseminate knowledge to the world through books sold cheaply. It was none of that. I didn't want to work. That's literally it. And so I decided that's my metric. So, and I do get those emails and comments like semi-regularly. And so that's how I know I have something to offer. So I teased at the beginning, I'm debuting something for the first time. And it's going to be a link below. I think I'll pin the comment to a page that just went live. And it's a page that has literally, 10 free things right now, 7 of which are brand new. And, they are either brand new or they are repackaged information that maybe was like in an article on some old article or something, but I repackaged it for like a guide format or an ebook format. Okay, so you can download all of these things right now. It's just fbamastery.com/free. So those few of you that actually watched this far in this video, because I know most people don't make it this far, you're the first to hear about this. Okay, I have not sent this out to my email list or anything. You guys are the first to hear about this. fbamastery.com/free. Link below this video. And free means free. So there's a sales rank guide. There's a whole 105 page book I put together. It's 100 books I've sold for over $100, and the lessons I've learned from each one that will show you how to spot value when you're sourcing books to resell. I said sales rank guide. There's like repricer review guide. There's 7 things. I can't even remember them all, but I've been working like crazy the last few weeks to get these up for you. So that's it. That's the big announcement. And like I said, there's going to be a lot more to come. and I don't know what it's going to look like. And give me some time, because I'm a one-man show here, so I don't have like a team like writers. Like, it's just me. So if I write a book, I'm sitting down at a computer writing a book. So that takes a lot of time. But again, a lot of stuff's already done and half done and mostly done or completely done. And I look forward to basically shipping you a box of weird stuff. That's my first goal that I want to get out. I'm also going to redo a bunch of courses and just give those away in one form or another. I'll warn you now, it might just be I'm only going to give these away on a live webinar. And you've got to sign. You got to be on the live webinar to get the free thing. One way or another, I'm going to limit it, but it's not necessarily going to be just a money thing, okay? So that's it. I guess I want to end this note in this video on a tribute to Jordan Malik. He did a lot for this community. A lot of people don't even realize the impact that people like Jordan had on where we are today. A lot of people don't give credit to where they came from. You know, a lot of people teach stuff and they don't really give credit to who taught them. And so we kind of stand on the shoulders of people like Jordan Malik. So Jordan Malik, rest in peace. We miss you. And here is to the future of FBA Mastery. I'll carry on his legacy and take something bad and turn it into something good, which is, what Jordan taught me is we should give more than we take. So I'll leave on that note.